Also, I didn't watch this
Stephen
video.
Chbosky said that in The Perks of Being a Wallflower, and I used to think it was just a pretty
I still
quote
haven't seen it.
until I realized I had been unconsciously rejecting every person who actually loved me. Well, while chasing people who treated me like an option, and if that hits a little too close to home, make sure you hit that subscribe button, because what I am about to share might completely rewire how you think about love.
Say I.
Let me tell you about Sarah.
Probably.
Sarah came to me last month, and she was crying in my office because she had just broken up with Mark. Mark was, by all accounts, incredible. He remembered the little things she mentioned. He planned thoughtful dates. He communicated openly about his feelings. He introduced her to his family after 3 months, and he never once made her question where she stood with him. So why was Sarah sitting in my office, heartbroken, telling me she had to end it? It just felt wrong, she said, wiping her nose with a tissue. Like, where were the butterflies? Where was the excitement? I felt like I was settling. She looked at me with these desperate eyes and said, "Dr. Patterson, I just did not feel anything. Should not love feel like more?" And that is when it hit me.
Yeah, I don't know if it's gonna mention it, but also I was reading earlier today. If you grew up in a traumatic childhood, you had a traumatic childhood, then living in a safe environment feels wrong because you're used to chaos. When the reality is, you should just be used to enjoying your peace. Oh yeah, oh yeah. I'm guessing that's what this video is about.
Sarah was not broken. Sarah was not incapable of love. Sarah's nervous system was doing exactly what it had been trained to do for 28 years. It was protecting her from what it perceived as danger. And what did it perceive?
Yeah, so it perceives peace as danger, and then chaos as normalcy. And so your brain's nervous system is like, hey, I should be anxious because that's what I'm accustomed to. When really you should get being feeling safe. Yeah,
Perceive as dangerous.
something I had to do. When? A while ago. Like 10 years. 10 years? Oh yeah.
Safety. See, here is what nobody tells you about healthy relationships. When you have spent your whole life in survival mode, peace feels like the calm before the storm. When you have been conditioned to fight for love, receiving it freely feels like a trap. When your brain has learned that passion equals pain, stability feels like death. Sarah grew up with a mother who gave love based on performance. Good grades meant hugs. Bad behavior meant the silent treatment. Her father was there, but not really there. You know what I mean? Present in body, but emotionally unavailable. So Sarah learned that love was something you had to earn, something that could be taken away at any moment, something that required constant vigilance to maintain. Fast forward to her dating life, every guy who was inconsistent, every man who kept her guessing, every relationship where she had to decode mixed signals and fight for scraps of attention, those relationships felt like home. Not because they were good, but because they were familiar. Her nervous system recognized the pattern. Uncertainty equals love. Chaos equals passion. Anxiety equals attraction. But Mark felt foreign. When he said he would call, he called. When he made plans, he kept them. When he said he cared about her, his actions matched his words. And Sarah's trauma-trained brain kept waiting for the other shoe to drop. When it did not, when Mark continued to be consistent and kind and available, her nervous system started sending alarm bells. Something is wrong here. This is too easy. This cannot be real. And you know what the cruelest part is? She called it no chemistry. She told her friends she just was not feeling it. She convinced herself she was settling. But what she was actually experiencing was culture shock. The culture of healthy love was so foreign to her nervous system that it felt like nothing at all. This is happening to millions of people right now. You are sitting there wondering why
Yeah,
the
I've
good
met women
ones
like
feel
that.
boring. You are questioning whether there is something wrong with you because you do not feel fireworks with the person who treats you well. You are sabotaging relationships with people who could actually.
Sometimes I wonder now that I'm just emotionally stable, if like even my brain's like, hey, you're not crazy anymore. And to me, it seems boring, but I'm like, okay, I enjoy it. I enjoy my peace. I enjoy being able to create peace. Yeah, it does still feel foreign to me, but I'm well aware that it's healthy.
Love you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because your brain keeps scanning for the chaos it knows how to navigate. Let me tell you what is really happening in your nervous system when you meet someone emotionally available. Your amygdala, that little alarm system in your brain, It has been programmed by every relationship you have ever witnessed and experienced. If you grew up watching your parents fight and make up, your brain learned that volatility equals love. If you had to perform for affection as a child, your brain learned that love is conditional. If the adults in your life were inconsistent with their care, your brain learned that uncertainty is normal. So when someone shows up and they are
I
just
was giving a lot of
steady,
love.
your amygdala does not know what to do with that information. It starts sending signals. This person is too available. Something is off. Where is the challenge? Where is the drama? This does not feel like love. But here is the thing your amygdala does not understand. What it is calling love is actually addiction. When someone treats you inconsistently, when they are hot and cold, when they pull away just when you are getting close, your brain releases dopamine, the same chemical involved in gambling addiction. You get intermittent reinforcement, which is the most addictive reward schedule known to psychology. So when that person finally gives you attention, when they finally choose you, when they finally show you affection, it hits like a drug. Your brain floods with feel-good chemicals and you think, this is it, this is love, this is passion. But what you are actually experiencing is withdrawal relief. You are not high on love, you are high on the end of emotional starvation. Real love does not work that way. Real love is consistent. It is available. It is predictable in the best possible way. It does not make your heart race with anxiety. It makes your nervous system calm down. It does not keep you guessing. It gives you certainty. It does not make you perform for affection. It offers unconditional positive regard. And if you have never experienced that before, if that is not what love looked like in your family of origin, then yes, healthy love is going to feel boring. It is going to feel like settling. It is going to feel wrong, because you are comparing a nourishing meal to junk food and wondering where all the immediate gratification went. But here's what happens when you push through that discomfort. When you stay in the boring relationship, instead of running toward the chaos, you discover something revolutionary. When you are not constantly in fight or flight mode, when you are not always scanning for threats, when you are not performing for love, you have energy for actual intimacy. You start to notice things you never noticed before. The way they bring you coffee in the morning without being asked, the way they listen when you talk about your day, the way they remember your dreams and ask about them months later, the way they hold space for your emotions without trying to fix you, the way they show up for you, even when you are not at your best. This is love. Not the dramatic, explosive, addictive highs and lows you are used to. This is love in its most pure form. Love is a verb, not just a feeling. Love as a choice made daily, not just an emotion that happens to you and the chemistry you are looking for. It is there. It is just different. It is in the way you can be fully yourself without fear of abandonment. It is in the deep intimacy that comes from feeling.
Yeah, I like that I mentioned that love's a verb, because sometimes people say, oh yeah, I love you, etc., but all they're using is words, which is words of affirmation. But the thing is, if it's not followed by action and it's just words, then I'm like, okay, what are you doing? Like, if you love someone, you would show it through your actions. It's not just words. Words are good too, though. But for me, like, it doesn't matter much of what you say. What matters is what you do. That makes me actually feel loved, which is acts of service, which is also how I show love to people. Like that's the thing. But yeah.
Truly seen and accepted. It is in the excitement of building something together instead of constantly tearing it down. It is in the spark that comes from security, not insecurity. Sarah came back to see me 6 months later. She had reached out to Mark, apologized for her confusion, and explained what she had learned about herself. They took things slow. She did some therapy work to understand her patterns, and guess what? She started to feel the chemistry she thought was missing. Not the anxious, addictive chemistry of her past relationships, but the deep, nourishing chemistry of being truly known and loved. She told me something that stuck with me. I thought love was supposed to hurt. I thought if it did not hurt, it was not real. But now, I understand that love is not supposed to hurt. Healing hurts. Love is what happens after the healing. So if you are watching this and you have been sabotaging good relationships because they felt boring, if you have been chasing people who are emotionally unavailable because that feels like passion, if you have been rejecting stability because it feels like settling, I want you to consider this. Maybe what feels like boredom is actually your nervous system finally getting to rest. Maybe what feels like settling is actually leveling up. Maybe what feels like lack of chemistry is actually the presence of safety. The most radical thing you can do is choose the love that feels boring. Stay with the person who shows up. Give the relationship that does not trigger your trauma responses a real chance. Choose healing
And if you're not appreciated, then leave.
over familiar. Choose peace over chaos. Choose the love you think you do not deserve until you realize you have deserved it all along. Because the love you are looking for is not in the chaos, it is in the calm. It is not in the uncertainty, it is in the security. It is not in the drama, it is in the peace. And once you experience real love, I promise you, you will never want to go back to the counterfeit version again. If this story resonated with you, if you see yourself in Sarah's journey, leave a comment below and share your experience. Your story.
I was Sarah like 10 years ago. Yeah, then you heal, and then you can build healthy relationships. The hard part is when people decide to get in a relationship when they still have that wound. They keep wondering why their relationships fail. I'm not a psychologist to share from my own experience with family systems. Some books that helped me are I Didn't Start With You, Family Secrets, The Body Keeps the Score. I have that book. I Don't Want to Become Famous. I just want to bring awareness to this topic. Because many people also don't know how family patterns can affect our lives. I'm well aware of that. So is my sister. Yeah. Then you learn how to grow and heal from it. I got there first. What? Not a competition. Okay, fine. This book. No one Mr. Nice Guy. Lots of dating advice on YouTube encourages the mystery, the highs and lows of inconsistent love. It doesn't work and just risk a good relationship. To be fair, the cat and mouse is kind of fun. But it's not about chasing highs and lows, and it has to be done in a good way. Yeah. In a healthy way. This is a really good video. My wife had a hard road, the kind of past that leaves deep marks, even when you think you've healed. Took her a full year of therapy just to finally reach the same realization that video explains in under 10 minutes. Yeah. The thing is, people just want to heal right away when I'm like, that's not how it works. It takes years to heal. Yeah. The hard part is being patient with yourself and having people who understand where you're at. Not saying, hey, why aren't you here? Well, because I'm not there. It takes time to get there. And yeah, just find people that support you. For a long time, she expected me to be like the people who hurt her before. But instead, I did what I do for the strays that show up in our neighborhood. And that gives her time, grace, lots of food, and lots of love. Yeah. 18 years later, she finally knows what peace feels like. And once someone finds peace, truly finds it, they'll do anything to keep it. Yeah. Now, if you excuse me, I've got someone I need to hug and kiss for no reason at all. Chasing people who are distant while avoiding those who want to be around us. This is attachment theory. Yeah. Fearful avoidance. The thing is, yeah, some people will avoid people, the people who can help them, or they'll push them away. I'm like, man, yeah, that's life. Let's give people time. I married my mark. Best 10 years of my life, no matter what happens. I hope the same for everyone. Break your family cycle. Being happy is a choice. Tiny little choices, but choices. Well, I wonder if sometimes the reason some people have ADHD is because they're just dealing with trauma and their brain can't function properly. Because their their brain's still holding on to that trauma, and because of it, they can't think clearly. Then they just have a bad memory. Relatable. I remember the first day I woke up with that anxiety, I was 23. 23? 24? 25? I was 25. And I was like, hey, I can breathe normally. This is a weird feeling. What's the secret? You deal with your problems. Deal with your problems, and then you deal with your emotions. Yeah? Oh, yeah. Oops. Let's see. My girl broke up with me once with exact express reason. Her own words, it felt too good to be true. She had adopted her adopted parents, then divorced. She adopted her adopted parents and divorced. To this day, she is friendly to me when we text each other happy birthday. She's asking me my family, which I introduce her to. Even though many years have passed, the whole time I couldn't help but keep wondering why it all happened the way it did. Thank you for giving me one plausible explanation. Oops. I said I was just gonna watch the video. Choose the relation that doesn't trigger your trauma response. What's nice is that I don't have any triggers. Or do I? No, that's the thing. Like, my friends have never seen me like mad. Why? Because I like very rarely get mad. How often? I don't know, like maybe once a year. And yeah, I've learned self-control. What's the secret? Prayer and fasting. Oh yeah? Oh yeah. If you want to be tested, fast. If you want to grow, it's effective. It's a shortcut. Being in a relationship with someone who doesn't trust you, just love them for who they are, is really hard. I've seen had to end a relationship due to this. Real. That's the thing. I'm like, if you have, oh, man, you start losing trust in the person, it's really hard to support. They start acting crazy. Yeah, yeah. They're just immature. Anyways, growing up with parents constantly fighting and my mother, justifying it. Father had a bad day. We should not anger him. Don't focus on what we are doing. Be grateful for him for taking care of us. They taught me to make excuses for everything, which made me a pushover at the end. Growing up, I became cold and distant, waiting for people to hurt me or take advantage of me. Each time I opened my heart, I ended up broken. But I also deceive others because I don't know how to love healthily. I just don't know how to love. I can't and don't want to make efforts because all my life I performed for love. Empathy fatigue is real. Oh yeah, which do not grow weary in doing good. Oh yeah. This is true after my husband was patient and stayed by my side even though I told him I didn't love him. We're very happy now, married 8 years. 8 years? Okay, that's enough. I was just gonna watch this video and then play the game. Good video. Thank you. For the kill. That's what I'm about to do. Okay, that's enough. Game time? What the Undertale's going on? How long has it been? 20 minutes. Perfect. Stories? No stories.